Our next reader is David Carter.
Hi everyone, hi, I'm David. I'm going to read some of my original poems here for you tonight. I'll keep the preface short. So this is a poem that I call The Super Heavies, and it's based on a Scientific American article on super heavy elements that exist only for fractions of a second, but likely populated the early universe. So this is my poem called The Super Heavies. They prefer not to exist, the super heavies, dubnium, borium, seaborgium, along the uncharted coastline of chemistry, the end of chemistry, the edge of the periodic table, where the ocean of atoms pours into eternity. Behold, an island of stability, a wonder. In the caves there, Californium is made with beams. It started back in the Bronze Age, and it ends in the cyclotron. Electrostatic forces form the innermost shells. They must exist for a half a second to say they were. The principle is uncertain, the effects relativistic, and fission becomes inevitable as the electrons gloam on to form an atom or an Eve. In an infinitesimal gap, you might find nuclei floating in the clouds, existing in a haze of probability. Super heavies. So this next poem is about an oyster that I had in Japan. An oyster. Right, an oyster can be that good. That inspired a poem.
I want to hear this poem.
It is about the aesthetic experience of truly fresh food, which is quite profound, actually. So, this poem is called Argus, or the Oyster. It begins like this: Tokyo, Japan, an izakaya, soft light, soft wood. On the white plate, an oyster, the perfect size, many-eyed Argus. Fresh in the ocean, out, shucked and set on the plate, wet, alive, vigorous. The smell, the ocean breeze, fresh and clean, inhaled as if blown up from the bow of a boat. The shell came first, it brushed my lower lip, my teeth scraped it gently, and I felt the contours of the shell like the Maine coast, rocky, cold, stalwart, as are all things that hold the ocean at bay. My tongue pressed into it, the flavor was that of the seacoast, a conduit, the kelp, the salt, the minerals, the ocean itself. I tipped the oyster, sucked it, filled my mouth. Then the lemon mixed with the cold, wet salt, as if whispering, taste it all again, washed with citrus acid, see how it frames the ocean. Then the ecstasy, disorientation, a religious experience, a judo throw, a communion with the ocean, a slipping out of consciousness, an overcoming umami poetry. This is a sonnet I wrote about the guy who used to go through my garbage outside my apartment when I lived in St. Louis. It is fundamentally about encounters with the divine in the everyday. So this is called This Beautiful Man. Outside he rummages through my garbage, this beautiful man. His long face is black like a bog person pulled from Irish mud. He knows me with his white eyes, looks and sees. Gods once took this form, sober and vivid. On his old bike hang bags of cans, metal. This beautiful man balances his bike, walks the old bike down the street, clanking. It's not every day you meet a god going through dirty trash cans, collecting waste, balancing it on a bike, seeing and moving to who knows where, knows what. And this beautiful man with his sober, vivid eyes like the gods lives on. Thank you. So this is a poem I wrote about Virgil, who is the author of the Aeneid, the author of the Georgics, the author of the Eclogues, three of the greatest poems ever written. I think it's 1st century BC Roman poet. This is in praise of the poet Virgil. For Virgil, my love, Apollo's favorite prophet, seer, poet, never a provincial, a cosmopolitan, a cosmologic, a poetic genius. A tough plowman poet, singer of shares, chisels of vines and milk-laden ewes, of brambles and of bees, of Pan, honey and wine, of peace and war and man. Sowing the soil, the seeds of imagination, lush fields of ideas, a fair champagne, neatly arranged in rows. You tended them, proved them, kept the wolves and boars at bay. Nourished humanity, intoxicated it, fattened it, made it full on a secure storehouse in which it feeds and eats and lives and breathes and grows and writes and dreams. From Greek Arcadia to rural Italy to tragic, tragic Troy, from Troy to sad Carthage, from Hades to heaven to Rome, Virgil took us. Poetry, poetry, my true love, come to me, Virgil, O poet of the perfect poems, teach me to sacrifice to divine Apollo. This is a poem I wrote about cutting the grass. It's called "Oh, to be a Mower." There's a long tradition of grass cutting poems that goes back a long ways. It was a kind of an idealized activity of something that a person would do. It still is today. Cutting the grass is something that a lot of people enjoy doing. So this is one that I wrote. It's a modern mower poem about a robot mower. Oh. Yeah, that's right, robot mowers. It's called "Oh, to be a Mower." Oh, to be a mower, I watch the robot buzz back and forth across my lawn, back and forth out my office window buzz. It cuts the grass, my mower. Oh, to be a mower out there cutting the grass and the sun in the air being seen, buzzing back and forth, the smell of cut grass, the itch, green flecks on my legs. Oh, to be a mower and let that patch of wildflowers grow and dodge the hedgehog rolled up in the grass. Hey, neighbor, I'd say, and turn it off. Thank you. I got one more left. Okay, I think that was my early, so 30 seconds.
Go.
Go. Okay. This poem is called "The Heart." It's about a mother's love for their child. Why does she pant like that, the baby? Why does she pant like that? Evolutionary holdover, a survival instinct. A fawn will hold its breath like that and pant and pant. You're like a deer with her, you know that? You two are like deer. You birthed her in the forest, in the brush. You licked her scentless, drank her urine, ate her droppings, devoured every bloody leaf and all the blood-soaked dirt. And if you look at her, she is a fawn, eyes closed, and you, eyes open, in the bushes, in the distance, watching. And her lying in the thicket, nose tucked between her legs, sensory illusion. You two bound off together, back and forth, two hearts beating their way through the oak grove, over the ridge, panting as they go. Last poem, a haiku. A haiku I wrote in Kojima, Japan recently.
Yeah, you're...
Never over time. Thank you, everyone.
Never enough time. Okay. Fake Come